a treat for you today. I have got my good friend, Red Taylor, CEO of Red Taylor Insurance, host of the Red Hot Read podcast. Overall, just glamour king, best hair in Atlanta. I think you won best hair in Atlanta 10 years in a row. Am I wrong?
Sounds good. I'll go. Let's go with it.
Dude, Red, what's up, my friend?
What's going on, brother, man? It's great to see you again. It's been too long. I know we really hadn't talked and caught up here in a few weeks, man. So it's great to
Yeah.
see you again. How you
Yeah.
been?
Good, man. We just got back from 5 days in Sundance for our mastermind that we hosted, and then 5 days in Orange County with my friend Taki Moore and about 60 or 70 coaches that are all
Wow,
doing between 100 grand a month to a million a month in
big time.
revenue. Yeah, some of the top guys in the world. It was really, really cool and man, I learned a lot. So it was
Yep.
good, dude. Take a minute because this show ain't about me. This show is about you. Take a minute and talk to our audience, Red. Tell everybody a little bit about you, what you've got going on, and dude, because you're like mover and shaker in Atlanta, dude. Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Glad to be here. And just a little bit about me, man. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a guy that enjoys business. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy making an impact on people. I've been an independent insurance broker for about the past 25 years, where I've just ran an agency where we sell and service health insurance and life insurance for people who are self-employed and own their own small businesses. Man, we help them to make really good financial situations. Outside of that, my wife and I, we own a real estate brokerage where we invest in real estate throughout Georgia. We've done dabbled a little bit along the coast of Alabama. We really like the Gulf Coast, the Panhandle of Florida, a couple of areas there, and man, and then we've been doing a podcast now for about the past six,
Yeah,
7 months, and decided to get out from behind my little wall of anonymity and
come on.
try to take some of the blessings that God's given me over my life, some of the mistakes that He didn't make as a life sentence for me. Because, brother, I can promise you, I have made a ton of mistakes. For the people out there that are going to watch this show today, if you feel like you are less than, if you feel like you aren't worthy, if you feel like you
Yeah,
have done the unthinkable and you've put yourself in a situation where you can't overcome it, well, if you're not 6 feet under and you're not behind bars forever, then you can overcome, okay? Because this old knucklehead right here, this sorry old dog right here, has been forgiven. I've had my story is a story of redemption, of grace, and a guy that, if I can overcome it and if I can put those things behind me and learn from them to be
yeah.
better today than I was yesterday, and to desire to be better tomorrow than I am today, and to desire to go help as many people on planet Earth as I can possibly help, then you can too. And
It's
so
good.
that's really the reason that we're here today, I think.
Yeah, one of the things I loved, I went by your office. We actually shot your podcast, I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I came by your office and I walked in. Your amazing wife was sitting at the front desk. She runs the show, which that automatically makes you a smart guy in my book because who needs to be happy and who needs to run the show. But meeting you, doing the podcast, and then connecting with you've got a team of young sales guys. Your son was one of them. A lot of D1 athletes,
Yeah,
quarterback at Samford, D1 baseball player. You have a ton of D1 athletes in there.
yeah, yeah.
And literally, I remember leaving that day, and I want you to dive into a little bit of your story. I remember leaving that day, and I'm going, dude was a college football coach. Now he's just coaching entrepreneurs. He's taking D1 athletes and showing them how to live life and do business as a faith-based entrepreneur. Talk about that journey for you, Red, being a coach at Auburn and just the journey it took for you to do what you loved to do and what you knew God was calling you to do.
Yeah, yeah. So I began as a young man with really a desire to make an impact, and I don't know why, man. It's a God thing for sure, because I didn't come from anything, as far as personal. My story, my dad was an alcoholic addict. He kind of walked out on my mother and us five kids when I was 8, 9 years old, and she was the type of person where she just wasn't really strong mentally, and didn't have a lot of she'd had a hard life herself, and so she had some mental issues. And realistically, I've been on my own since I was about 13, 14 years
Mm-hmm.
old, and
Mm-hmm.
not really a whole lot of guidance. But the one man that did make such a profoundly positive impact in my life was my head football coach at Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery, Alabama. And there's stories behind all that as well. But his name is Spence McCracken. And Coach McCracken, who's become a great friend of mine, is just a phenomenal human being. He made a impact in so many young men's life, who's gone on, to impact literally thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands and maybe millions. Um, he just believed in me, man. He believed in us. He thought that there was better in us. He wanted us to be winners. He wanted us to be champions, and he pushed us beyond anything that we ever thought that we could be. And man, that was born into my spirit and born into my soul, and it resonated in me, and something that I thought that I had as well, to be able to inspire other men. And so after I was able, after I got hurt playing college football and I was so bad they didn't renew my scholarship, I went back and I was bouncing around from job to job trying to go to night school because I didn't have any money. But I met a guy who was kind of an angel to me. Um, his name was Curtis Stewart. Curtis happened to be the third, fourth string running back at Auburn University behind Bo Jackson. Nobody had ever heard of Curtis Stewart. But,
Not while Bo Jackson's there, they won't.
that's right. That's right. Bo was the show. So anyways, Curtis and I developed a relationship, and he was a volunteer football coach over at my rival high school there in Montgomery, called Jefferson Davis High School. Imagine that. Robert E. Lee High School, Jeff Davis High School, two rivals, the largest football high schools in the state of Alabama, on the exact same road, about 3 miles from each other. Big football powerhouses back in the late 80s and early 90s. But Curtis is like, Red, you need to be coaching. You need to be coaching. You got it. You got it. You need to be coaching. I was like, man, I can't afford to go to college. I'm working in this warehouse. I'm trying to, take a night class here, a night class there. So anyways, he came to me one day. He said, dude, I got this thing, man. I was like, what? He said, you need to call this lady over at Alabama State University. I was like, what? He says, dude, you didn't hear? I was like, no. He said, the Supreme Court of the state of Alabama just ordered the historically black universities to desegregate, and you can go to Alabama State on a minority scholarship because you're white. I said, what? What? He said, I swear. He said, I'm telling you, call this lady. She's going to
Yeah.
get you hooked up. So boom, I called, went and met with her. Next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I'm enrolled in classes at Alabama State University on a minority scholarship. Yeah, I
Wow.
didn't have to pay a dime. And I was well on my way to fulfilling my dream. I left there. I went and talked to the coaching staff over at my old alma mater, Robert E. Lee, and asked them if I could volunteer. They said, shoot, yeah, come on. So I started volunteer coaching. Well, less than 6 months later, Curtis died in a one-car automobile accident late, like 3 or 4 a.m. on his way back from a job. He owned a janitorial cleaning supply company, and so he left an office building in Selma, Alabama, ironically, heading back towards Montgomery, and lost control of the vehicle. Probably went to sleep and passed away. But
Mm-hmm.
it was God sent Curtis to me to help me to fulfill my destiny, and so I went on to coach there at Robert E. Lee in high school, and evidently I was pretty good at it. A lot of guys come in there and they would say, "You remind me of a young Spence McCracken. You remind your passion, your energy, your intensity." Because I'm an intense guy. I'm a passionate guy. I think that caught some of the attention of Auburn University's brand new staff coach, Tommy Tuberville, and that group, who had just gotten hired on at Auburn
Mm-hmm.
from Ole Miss,
Mm-hmm.
and they offered me a job coaching there. And man, when I'm telling you right now, I'd only been coaching in high school for 3 years, two of them as a volunteer, only one as a paid teacher assistant. And then I got on at Auburn University. So to say that I was in over my head is a dramatic
So
understatement.
tell me what that's like. So you're coaching a pretty large school in Alabama, in
Yep.
Montgomery. I mean,
Yep.
it's like you said, it's a
I mean,
powerhouse
it's big
back there.
time high school ball.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big time high school football.
Yep.
Well, big time high
And
school football and in the SEC are two totally different things.
bro, you have no idea.
So
So
tell
I
me, what
mean,
were some of so a couple things I want to ask on this.
yeah.
So obviously your coach made a huge impact in you, made you understand, I want to have the same influence and impact in kids' lives that he had in mine. What were
Yes.
one or two of your favorite moments coaching high school before we get to the Auburn story?
Oh man. Uh, you know, I tell you, I can remember the second year that I was a volunteer assistant, and coach he had given me the defensive ends and linebackers. Okay, and we were in a playoff game, and and I coached those guys hard, and I'd get after it, man. And I was I thought so much of myself. Heck, I'd challenge our defense coordinator, like a dummy, like a young 23-year-old, 4-year-old guy that is full of himself and piss and vinegar and all that stuff. But I coach those kids hard, and I expected a lot of them. I demanded a lot of them, but I loved them, and I can remember we were in the second round of the playoffs, and we worked on this and worked on this and worked on this. But one of my defensive ends play came down the line of scrimmage. He did his assignment perfectly. He came off. He hit the quarterback, jarred the ball loose. My other defensive end was coming, scooped it, and ran it back for a 48-yard touchdown return. And dude, I am I'm off the sideline running down the numbers to the end zone with these guys behind. Of course, I was a few steps behind them, but I mean, it was one of those like moments where you've worked it, we've drilled it, we've practiced it so hard so many times, and I've built this vision. I've shown them if you do the work, if you put it in, if you put your effort and focus into it, and you execute, then success will have. You have it. You at least have a chance to be successful. And at that point in time, it's up to you to perform when the lights are on and you have that opportunity. Man, they performed, and I was just so excited, And it wasn't anything about me. It wasn't winning championships. It was just seeing those guys to experience. Man, that may be to this day one of their greatest moments that they've ever had in football, or in sports. Period. Because those guys didn't have, mamas and daddies that were coming to the stadium on Friday nights to watch them, and making sure they had clean clothes every day to come to school and did their homework and all that kind of stuff. These were hard luck kids. They didn't always come from good neighborhoods, and neither did I. So I really, really related with them, and I just wanted so passionately for them to feel success and feel joy and feel the elation of overcoming a hard-nosed, bitchy-ass, hard-headed coach that only expects the best and expects excellence out of them. And for them to be able to feel that and experience that joy, man, it just meant so much to me personally.
So what's the deepest playoff run y'all had?
The last year I was there, which was 1998, we ended up losing in the semifinals. So that's actually the story of my coaching career, to be honest with you. So my senior year in high school, we got beat in the semifinals. Okay. Which, the next round we went to the state championship, and Robert E. Lee's won a ton of state championships. I think we've won, 6 or 7 state championships since the 80s. The year after I left, when I was coaching there, we went to the semifinals, lost. The year after I left, Lee went to the state championship and won it in 99. When I was at Auburn, we were terrible. Good Lord, we were bad. We didn't even make a bowl game that year. But
so hang on a minute. So back up just a bit before you get started talking about wins and losses. Tell me about the phone call where they said, "Hey, we want you to come to University of Auburn, and we want you to be one of our coaches in the SEC."
So I'd met these guys. I was really good friends with one of my buddy's dads. Ran coaching clinics. Okay, the Nike coaching clinics and whatnot. And as a young coach, he would bring me and Brian in, and Brian's a D1 college football coordinator now and has been for many years. But he'd bring me and Brian in, and we would help. We'd go get food and set up the hospitality suite and liquor or whatever for the coaches. We go to the airport and pick up coaches, and if they wanted to go eat wings or whatever, we go. And we would be in. And man, we got to be in all the meetings, and we got to be up there in the hospitality suite when coaches were coming. They'd relax and still talk ball, because that's. Football coaches, that's all they do is talk ball. I mean, that's they're single-minded people.
They're like entrepreneurs. They just talk about business. Or pastors, all they do is talk about church.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, guys are really simple people. So
yes, we are.
But anyway, I'd met some of those new guys that were coming in to Auburn from Ole Miss through these coaching clinics, and the O-line coach, a guy named Hugh Nall, just as hard-nosed a human being you've ever met in your life. I asked him if I could come down to Auburn and meet with him, because I wanted to run some of the stuff that they were really good at doing, and I wanted to learn how they were doing it. So I went down there. Me and him sat in his office, and I mean, I'm walking in the Auburn football facility. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude! I'm like, this is legit, man. And I'm going in his coach's office, and I'm meeting with him, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We all went out. He took me and the rest of the offensive staff, the offensive coordinator, Noel Mazzoni. We all went out and ate wings that night and had a couple of beers. So it was about a week later, I guess. Maybe he called me up and he's like, hey, no, I think I called him. I called Coach and I said, hey, did you ever get those cut ups? Did the GA ever get those cut ups for me? He said, man, he just took another job. I said, oh, crap. Okay, well, good for him. And he said, you want to be my GA? You want to coach? You want to come coach in Auburn? I was like, yeah. What do I got to do? He's like, well, you got to get into grad school. I said, well, how do you do that? I'm like, dude, I just graduated undergrad at Alabama State, you know? So anyways, I came down there. I met with Coach Tuberville. I met with Noel Mazzoni. Those guys, you know, they offered me the job. They said, okay, go get into grad school. And once I got into grad school, that was it. And so, you know, I moved down there, and I mean, within about one good minute, I realized how much I did not know about being a football coach as a professional.
What was it like walking on the field for the first practice, first time ever?
Complete and total intimidation.
Yeah.
Okay. Really. I mean, it's just, you know, I didn't believe that I deserved to be there. Number one, it's almost like, how did I get there? Because, you know, back in those days, you only got two GAs. GA stands for graduate assistant. Okay. So they paid for me to go to graduate school to get my master's degree, but my job was to coach football. Okay. So we had one for the offense and one for the defense. You had 9 position coaches and 2 GAs. Now they got 170, GAs, it seems like, at every school. Yeah. So that GA job was harder to get than the position jobs. And I'll never forget when I got there, first day, the director of football operations, the guy's named Eldon Hawley, old man. And I think that he had coached Coach Tuberville's dad back in Arkansas, 182 years ago or something like that. So he called me up to his office, and I walked in his office, and he sat down on the desk, sat down across from him. I was scared to death. And he didn't say nothing to me. He reaches down in his drawer and he pulls out a book, bam, slams it on the table. I'm telling you, that book was that thick. And he says, you see that right there? I says, yes, sir. He says, you know what it is? I said, no, sir. He says, that's all the people that want to get your damn job. He says, I don't know how the hell you got here, and I don't know if you're qualified, but these are the guys that are going to be here when you he said, when you F it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, oh my gosh, So, I mean, that was day one, initial meeting. Hello, introduction. Welcome to college football. Welcome to the SEC. And then my next job, my next job was to break down all 10 game films from Alabama the year before. So, and I didn't even know how to break down film at that time. So luckily for me, there was a guy that had come in named Dan Warner, who GA'd with Coach Tubbs. Dan was the offensive coordinator at James Madison. He'd just gotten fired. He was still on payroll. So he was there, and Dan taught me how to break down film all summer.
I love that. So what was it like walking on the field the first home game at University of Auburn?
So there's a legend of this story around my little small circle. So all right, so here's the way it went. So we went on Thursday for game practice. Our first game was at home. We're playing App State at home. And on Thursday, we went and had a test run. Good coaches, they're going to practice everything. I mean, they're going to practice putting the headsets on, guys going up to the box, all that stuff. Well, for the first game, I was going to be on the sideline. Coach Nall was going to be up in the box so he could see everything good. He would communicate it to me. I would make adjustments to the guys when they come off the field. And I was fine. That's what I'd been doing, whatever. So game time comes, and we go out there for warm-ups. And, there's not a ton of people in the stands for warm-ups, guys, you're an hour before game, blah, 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 whatever. So we go in, kick the field goal. Everybody goes into the locker room, right? Well, we go in the locker room, and I go into the bathroom to pee. I got to go to the bathroom. So when but I'm waiting on all the players, right? Obviously, and these guys are giants, so I'm waiting on all the players. So by the time they start weeding out, I go in there and I go in the bathroom. Well, when I get done, I come out of the bathroom and it's quiet as a church mouse. Everybody's up on a knee. Coach Tubbs is giving the speech. So I tighten up and I'm starting looking around, and I had an oh shit moment. I'm looking around and there are no other coaches in there. Okay. All the coaches stayed outside. They didn't come inside. We didn't practice that. Okay. We did not practice that. So as soon, and I'm trying to squirm my way around the crowd to get to the door so I could try to get out and get through the tunnel and get over, squirm my way on the sideline. It didn't work out that way. So they break it down, boom, and it's just a glob of 105 big giants hit the door. They get in that tunnel. I'm in the tunnel. I'm like, oh man, this ain't good. This ain't good. So, boom, soon as they hit it, they roll out of the tunnel. I come out there, and our equipment manager, Frank Cox, is standing right there on the side waiting on me. You stupid. I mean, just dog cussing me. He's got the headset, put this on. You stupid, I don't know what you're doing. The guys are running through the A. The flags are all going. Band's playing. I'm squirming around the sideline over there on the bench area. He's got this. As soon as I put it on, I'm getting dog cussed by Coach Nall, by the whole offensive staff is wearing me out. I was like, all right, let's go. Can we please kick this thing off now?
That's funny.
So anyways, that was great. We ended up coming back and winning that game. We were so bad we had to come back and beat App State with a minute and 49 seconds left.
Well, I'm a Michigan fan, so we weren't lucky enough to come back and beat App State.
Yeah.
But we did come back that year. Do you know who Michigan beat in the bowl game that year? Badly.
Who?
Florida. Tim Tebow's senior season.
Okay. That's saying something.
Busted that ass. I think it was that Outback Bowl.
That's saying something. No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah, because especially the way that season started. That season did not start good whatsoever.
Yeah.
Losing App State. Some of the things that you learned, Red, coaching high school football, even the moment where you're like, holy crap, I'm not supposed to be in this locker room. Like, what were some of the transferable principles that you learned from those experiences where you made mistakes? Because a lot of people, it's hard for them when they make mistakes to rebound. How did you take some of those mistakes and build on those?
Yeah, the great lesson about being in ball and being involved in sports is that you got to come back and play the next play. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have to, if you're going to be successful, then you got to have a short memory and you got to get focused on the next play. Okay. That's in business. That's in our relationships. That's in your personal fitness journey. That's in your finances. How many of us have never made a mistake with money? Okay. How many of us? I have. Okay. I can tell you, a lot of mistakes that I've made with money. I can tell you a lot of wins I've had, but I can also tell you a lot of mistakes. What about relationships? Okay, guys, I'm a dummy. I screw it up. My wife, if she was here right now, she'd tell you. My kids, my team. I lost a team member recently. Okay, and we had to part ways. And I'm just going to tell you, man, that's a death to me. That's my fault. I don't give a dang what that person did to make themselves not be available to my company anymore, want a position within my infrastructures anymore. But either way, that's my lack of leadership. That's my lack of coaching, of teaching. So if I would have done a better job of inspiring that human being, if I'd have done a better job of teaching, making standard operation procedures absolutely abundantly clear, my expectations day in and day out abundantly clear, okay? And if I would have been led more by example, maybe had more empathy, maybe cared a little bit more, maybe asked a few more questions to see what their expectations or what their definition of success was, then we wouldn't have maybe had to part ways, okay? So at the end of the day, what sports has taught me is to own it. Okay, there's a guy that's going to line up across from me and a guy that's going to line up and he's going to try to whip my ass every single play. And he's good. Guess what, guys? In business, we have competition. Okay, somebody's going to get the business. All right. And so it's the same theory. And if and what I've learned over the years is if somebody has a better business than I do, if somebody has a better team, if their revenue is above mine and their productivity is above mine, then whether I like to admit it or not, they're better at the game of business than I am right now. Okay? And I better learn what their edge is, what their methodology is, or what methods that I can utilize in my businesses to become more effective and more efficient and more successful. And in business, let's be honest. The goal of business is to earn a profit. Okay, that's it. Simple, point blank. I don't run non for profits. Okay, and so if somebody's making more money than you are, or somebody's making more money than me in business, they're better at the game of business than I am. All right, and it's my goal to be the best there ever was. I don't know if I'll ever achieve it or not, but I'm having a great time trying.
Yeah, but you continue just to strive to get to the next level.
Always.
From high school, being a football player, back into coaching, back into going to college and then going to Alabama State and then coming back and taking a job there and then working with the kids and really just pouring back into or giving back what you received in high school, and then understanding, and I love this, John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, where John talks about, failure isn't final. Like, you only fail when you quit. And you didn't. I guarantee you, when you realized that first home game at Auburn, you weren't supposed to be in there. I bet you were like, what am I doing?
Oh gosh, yeah. It's literally one of the more frightening moments of my life.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you hit on there, Ken, is it's been important to me to learn how to redefine the term failure. Okay, because I have had so many failures in my life, as everybody has, guys. Failure is very simply defined as undesired results. That's it. And so you're not failing unless you quit. So as long as I don't quit, I ain't failing.
Yeah.
And I ain't ever quitting. Okay? I can tell you that right now. There ain't nothing in me that's ever going to quit. I'm going to keep coming back. I'm going to keep outworking you. I'm going to keep tweaking. I'm going to keep finding new ways. And I'm going to keep coming back to win. Now, I don't care what the game is. I don't know what I'm telling you right now, half the time I don't know what the definition of winning is. But I do know what the definition of quitting is, and that ain't me. I ain't ever going to do it. And that's what I encourage everybody to do. Don't get beat down by your failures, because they're not failures. They're just undesired results. We have another opportunity to come back. You do. I'm telling you, if you're not dead, then that means that God has more work for you to do. Your task is not complete, okay? That your job is not done. If you are not incarcerated for the rest of your life, then you have a chance. Heck, I think some guys that I've read stories, some guys that have been incarcerated and they've been locked up, man, they've led massive ministries, and they've made huge impact. And at the end of the day, if we're not on this earth to make an impact on others, then what in the heck are we doing?
Come on, man.
That's what we're called for. Ken, you went 12 years as a pastor and preacher, and you've turned it into a coach. And brother, you're done. I'm so thankful that I've met you. And in our short relationship, the people that you've introduced me to have just been phenomenal. And I look forward to growing long-lasting relationships with a lot of these people. And I'm going to beg forgiveness because I'm going to screw it up with them too, man. People, listen, if you hold your friends, if you hold your family, if you hold your coworkers to a level of only excellence of expectation, no mistakes, with being perfection, then you're going to be let down. People are going to let us down either way, right? Because nobody is perfect.
Yeah,
and
there's
so if you
always
hold people to the level of if your level of expectation is perfection for the people that are in your life, you're setting yourself up for bad.
There's
failure.
always
Constant
disappointment when you set expectations, because especially when you're a high achiever, Red, and you are a coach and you want impact and you're looking for influence. When you do that, you tend to place the same expectations on other people that you have for yourself, and those are very high. So, you get out of Auburn, you come back to Atlanta, you get ready to get your insurance brokerage license, and you start this firm, and you've taken it to one of the largest med share, I guess, underwriter or insurance group.
Yeah, we've been really, really fortunate, man. God set us up to work with Christians a long time ago, in a way that I certainly couldn't have done it myself. Um, in every business, I don't care who you are, if you sell a product, if you're a service-based business, then you need customers, right? You need leads. You need clients. And I don't care, what type of business you're in. When times are really good, guess what you want more of? You want more customers. You want more leads. When
Yep.
times are really bad, guess what you need? You need more customers. You need leads.
Yeah.
So I was able to form a relationship with one of the top financial Christian consumer advocates, financial advisors on the planet about 20 years ago, and that's a guy named Dave Ramsey. So we were able to start helping Dave's people that were in the state of Georgia with their health insurance. Dave called us and endorsed local providers back then, ELPs. So he'd hook us up in our neighborhoods and our communities. That's evolved now to his trusted pros. And we really are able to help people nationwide. We've just been doing it so long. So through that relationship, we were able to tap into the largest faith-based healthcare sharing program on the planet, a Christian ministry called MediShare, or Christian Care Ministry. And that's really, in simplest terms, it's health insurance for Christians. Okay. And through the two relationships, my firm has become the largest producer of MediShare on the planet. We're really, really passionate. I have it for my family. I recommend it for, and I hear Ken, y'all have heard Ken do his ads out there. If you're a Christian, if you're a faith-based entrepreneur, and realistically, man, if you're a faith-based entrepreneur, you're self-employed, you own your own business, a small business, you work for a small business, you're in a position where you need to buy your own health insurance, okay? And you're just, just a relatively healthy Christian. I've got a PhD in health insurance for 25 years now. MediShare is your best option, period, point blank, end of story. I know them all. I still get checks from United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana, Aetna, Cigna, Coventry, Oscar, all of them. I've got them all. But I've had my wife and my family, my 6 children. We've been on MediShare now for almost 10 years.
How many kids did you say, bro?
We've got 6 children, 4 grandchildren, 3 dogs.
Son,
Come on.
I love it.
Come on.
Talk to me about some of the things you've learned as a faith-based entrepreneur and how that ties back to playing football, being a football coach at the highest level. Like, what are some of the transferable principles from the two?
Yeah, well, the one thing that I've learned, and I love entrepreneurs, okay? Entrepreneurs are they're the go-getters of society, okay? These are people who are dreamers. They have big ideas. They have courage. They have belief in themselves, and they're just usually dumb enough to be able to lay it on the line and roll the dice and just bet on themselves. I tell my guys all the time, I don't want guys that want to bet on the S&P 500. I want guys that want to bet on the S&Me 500. Belief in yourself. If there's one thing I've learned as an entrepreneur for the past 25 years, it's you have to believe in yourself, okay? God put a dream in your heart when you're quiet, when you're still, when you're laying in bed, when you're reading, when you're driving down the road, and you hear that voice and you feel that pull, you feel that tug, you feel that desire, whatever that passion is, that is God putting that belief, that dream inside of you, in your soul, in your heart, and it's there for a reason, okay? He didn't put it in there for you to say, I'm not good enough. I ain't got no hair. I'm not smart. I got red hair and fat face. Okay. I'm too overweight. I'm out of shape. I ain't got no money. I don't have no friends. Right. I didn't go to the best school. I went to Alabama State. I went to a historically black university in Montgomery, Alabama, where the Montgomery bus boycott was born and executed out of the same halls that Red Taylor walked. And I'm here to tell you right now, they accepted me. All the people there, and I was pretty much the only white guy. Okay,
Yeah.
they accepted me as a human being, and I accepted them as a human being. Racism, I don't believe in no racism. Okay, people that are racist, they're the fringe. They're not around us. Okay, you don't know people that are racist. I don't know people that are racist. So put all that crap behind you. So as an entrepreneur, as a person that wants to accomplish things, that has dreams and goals and desires, believe in yourself. Okay? Then find a system. Okay? Success leaves clues, Ken. You and I both
Now, when
know
you say
this.
system, talk about some of the things, talk about, kind of unpack that a little bit for our audience and talk about some of the things that you've used to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, great question. So in my business, in a lot of sales-based businesses, okay, you're gonna have to find systems that work, systems that are going to be, you can reproduce them and have a really good chance of reproducing success, right? So what does that mean? So it means how many calls a day do you have to make? Where do you get your customers? Where do you get your leads? Okay, we're in an age right now where branding and scaling has become something that is really, really attainable for average everyday Joes, right? Listen, I'm on here, I'm on a laptop and a stinking little, camera talking to you on this app that we don't even pay for this app. And it's going to continue, it's going to help us to produce really high quality content that somebody may see, and we may go viral. This may get 1 million views, okay? And we may be up there. Elon Musk could retweet it, and it could get 100 million views. You know what I'm saying? So you have just as good a chance at getting attention these days, at reaching an audience these days, as the guy that's got 1 million followers does, because we have access to the worldwide internet.
Yeah.
Okay, and because your story is authentic, your story needs to be told, and nobody on planet Earth is qualified or as good as you at telling your story. And I think it was Ed Milet said this, and it resonated with me so much. He said that we are most qualified to help the person that we once were. Okay, so Red Taylor is most qualified to help that scared, intimidated, insecure coach and leader that I once was, that came from really nothing, no money, no real parenting, no real leadership. I just had one man that spoke inspiration into me, and really that inspiration turned into aspiration. Not only did it inspire me to be more than I was, but now I aspired to be more like him. And I aspired to have the impact that he had on so many others. And so that is one of the things that I've just taken in my life, and I've just said, man, I'm just gonna chase that. I'm gonna continue to try to do that. So in my business, what have I always done? I don't try to sell insurance. I try to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I try, and I tell my guys all the time. And like you said, I got a lot of young lions in here, young beasts, okay? And they want to make money. And as a young entrepreneur, as a young business person, as a young salesperson, I challenge you, it needs to be about money, because success is tied to your money right now in our society. But as you gain that success, as you make more money, as you get older and have experience, and pray for wisdom, and God gives you wisdom, that money, the attainment of the money kind of diminishes a little bit, and the ability to impact others, what the hope is that it grows and expands and becomes more important to you. So in doing that, systemically, my system was always to try to help people. And I think it's one of the things, especially in the insurance business, it set me apart a long time ago, in that people that came to me, I had a reputation of integrity and character. I was going to do what I felt like was the best thing for them.
That's good. So tell me real quick. So in the business, you've been uber successful. You've got a great team, an amazing wife, great kids, home in 30A. Dude, what is Red Taylor grateful for today?
Brother, I am grateful that that I wake up in the morning healthy. You know, I'm telling you, when I wake up in the morning, I challenge everybody to do this. 'Cause you want to change your life right now. You want a simple one action to change your life and set you on a trajectory for goodness. Wake up in the morning and spend the first 5 minutes thanking God above for little things, man. God, thank you that I woke up in a bed that was comfortable. Thanks for giving me good sleep last night. I'm grateful that I get to walk right from my bed, right next, like 10 steps, and go to the bathroom, go potty. Okay. And I'm so thankful that when I flush that toilet, that everything that's in there leaves. Okay. God, I am so thankful that when I flip that switch, that hot water comes out. I mean, really, I'm thankful for my dogs. I love them. They're like, I don't know if I love them
When you
more than I
say
do my
dogs, you
kids.
mean Georgia Bulldogs? What kind of dogs are we talking about?
We ain't no time for no Georgia Bulldogs, man. Yeah, I don't get down with those front runners.
At least you're
But
not
no, it's
at least you're not a Tennessee fan this morning.
whew, right. I don't know. I did coach at Tennessee. At Neyland
Yeah.
Stadium was is a bear, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dogs got after him Saturday night for sure. But no, man, I think that so much that I'm thankful for right now. Man, I'm telling you, me tell you, it's so crazy. I'm thankful for the hard stuff. I'm thankful for the challenges that are ahead of me that I don't know nothing about. Okay, and I'm thankful that I'm prepared for. I'm thankful that I'm ready. Okay, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be tough.
Good.
I'm thankful that I've learned to practice self-discipline and understand what I just said there. Okay, because self-discipline is not normal. Okay, as humans, our brain's natural desire is to conserve energy and do things the easy, most least resistant manner possible. Okay. And so, that's why as a coach, as a leader, you have to reinforce certain behaviors over and over and over again. I tell these guys all the time, John Maxwell said, great leaders are not people who say, one thing and be done and move on down the road. Great leaders are people who say the same things to the same people over and over and over again. Nick Saban, what does he say constantly? Okay, the same exact things. Tom Brady, you go to practice every single day. They ran the same drills. So that's thankful about self-discipline, that I've learned self-discipline in that I'm able to practice things on a regular basis that are hard, that I don't want to do. Okay, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to lift heavy things. I don't want to take my fat butt out there and walk 10,000 steps a day. All right. I don't want to not eat the cheese dip and the ice cream and the cake.
Now, you ate the cheese dip when I was with you.
But I tore it up. But that's just what you left me. You didn't leave me much.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, man, chips, cheese, and salsa and guac are and a good margarita is my weakness.
Love it.
Definitely.
Love it.
Well,
How
dude,
could you not?
Oh, I know, right? Tell everybody, what's the best way to connect with you, Red? Best way to follow you on Instagram, your podcast, all the stuff.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. So I would love it. It would mean the world to me if you guys would tune in to the Red Hot Read on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. We're trying to get that thing out, and if you would rate it and review it and share it with somebody, man, it'd mean the world to me. You never know, it might mean the world to somebody else. Yeah. And then on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of them at Real Red Taylor and at Red Taylor Insurance. So
Real Red Taylor, dude. I'm excited we got connected, man. I'm excited about what God's got coming down the pipe.
Yeah, me too, brother. I appreciate you more than you know. Look forward to continuing this relationship a long way.
Yeah, God's good. Guys, thank you for joining us on another episode of As the Leader Grows. My good friend Red Taylor. Go check him out, Real Red Taylor on Instagram. His podcast, the Real Red Read. Is that right? The Red Hot Read.
The Red Hot Read, baby.
The Red Hot Read. We'll put links to everything on there so you guys can catch that in the show description. And as always, listen, thank you so much for joining us. We would love for you to connect with us at a deeper level at growstackdrive.com/free. It's a free community that we put together for faith-based entrepreneurs. Our mission and goal in the next 5 years is to impact 1 million faith-based entrepreneurs and helping them become the best version of themselves in their faith, health, relationships, business, and in their finances. And one of the ways I told our team about a month ago, I want to give away as much free content as we can to help people. You can go to growstackdrive.com/free. It's absolutely exactly what it says it is, free. Somebody's going to ask you for a credit card number or nothing like that. It is, if you're going to binge on something that helps you become the best version of yourself. We see you next week on As the Leader Grows. Boom.